up, guys and girls? Giovanni here, and this is possibly my last review of Raven's Home. Now, I want to take note that I have two thumbnails for this episode. One where it's the series finale, and one that is the season finale. At the time of this recording, I'm gonna have it as the season finale, but I'll change it if it becomes the series finale. Either way, you get to see both thumbnails. With that, let's begin.
Alright then, on with the show.
So let's begin with Alice and Victor. Now for both of them, they were struggling after Raven told them that she was moving. Their minds will go somewhere else. Victor had to tell Tanya that he will have to delay his leaving a little bit longer, which makes them both disappointed. On top of that, he couldn't focus on cooking at the Chill Grill. At one point, when his customers were leaving, he was going to call another restaurant to bring them food to make them stay. That could have been a nice time to reference the Hill Grill. But Alice, as y'all know, she loves science. It's the one thing she can count on, but she's not really into it right now. Alice had a talk with Dave. She tells him that she was so bored that she went, or should I say sneaked over to a regular camp and did kickball and enjoyed it. She continues to say everyone has their off day, but she thinks it could be her thing every day. Dave says give science camp another try, in which Alice does. The thing is, Dave not once spoke. He tried to, but Alice kept cutting him off. Keen in the joke, he is an extra. Sucks Dave never got to speak. Heck, I was expecting Annalise to have a line or two. Second plot is all about Ivy being jealous. Last episode, it was unclear what college Neil would go to, as Booker and Ivy knew where they wanted to go. Neil decides he's going to the same one as Booker and where they will be roommates together. Ivy thinks with that, they will forget about her, and after having a conversation with Alice, she decides she's going to try to ruin that. In that conversation with Alice, she decides to pull a Levi type line.
Too bad Neil doesn't know how annoying it is to live with Booker. That would put an end to this right away.
It would now, wouldn't it?
Yeah, that's why I said it.
Now, Levi would have not said it like that per se, but in some variation. He would have said it in his sarcastic, snarky way. Booker and Neil fight over cleaning the room, having a picture of Mrs. Flores in their room, and being tucked in. Ivy is just having a big old smile on her face. Man, this just makes me want to see Ivy as a villain. But things go too far, as Booker not only doesn't want to be his roommate, but his best friend as well, which Ivy realizes she is causing too much problems. It's then she comes clean about what happened. They tell her she won't be forgotten, and Neil says the three of us are friends for life. As much as I would like to repeat the whole Sienna, Xena, Curtis thing, I'm not going to do that. Booker and Neil agree to remain as roommates. Now, just because Booker and Neil have forgiven her, I haven't. She's done this how many times? She did this with Tess, she did this with Booker's Secret, and a few others. Booker and Neil should have called out Ivy on this. Now, she's either not going to be in season 7 or be a recurring character in season 7. Regardless, she will no longer be a main cast member. Either way, less screen time with her. And as Raven used to say, cause she has not said it once during the revival, the gotta go catchphrase. So Ivy, gotta go. Third plot, Raven and Mr. Giorgio. Raven is doing a photo shoot for one of Mr. Giorgio's outfits, but when she shows up, he says, "What have you done?" Raven added a blue outfit to have that Raven feel to it, but Mr. Giorgio doesn't like it, as he says it's
Barf City!
I just like the way Orlando Jones said that. He is so great, once again, in the role. Anyway, he leaves in disgust. Raven tells him to wait, but she gets a vision of him telling him that the deal is off. With that, she needs to make it up to him and make sure this partnership is not a mistake. So she asks Victor to cook her an Italian feast. Mr. Giorgio returns to have a conversation with Raven about what happened. Raven thinks she offended him, which she did, but that wasn't her intention. Mr. Giorgio then starts talking about why he came to her in the first place, but Raven is not listening as she is fighting an octopus. Victor didn't cook it because his mind is somewhere else, so it's still alive. Mr. Giorgio sits down, and as he's talking, he gets slapped. To me, this is the best variation of oh snap. They were both in shock, and great timing on going to commercial. Raven apologizes and says she did all this was because he wasn't going to finance her brand, but he tells her he would. We then get a revelation, and it is Mr. Giorgio will do all the designing while Raven is the face, going to parties and doing fashion shows. He designs all the clothes. Raven says, nah. Raven Baxter designs Raven Baxter clothes. She doesn't care about the fame and money, and with that, the vision comes true with the deal being off. The partnership is over, but the question is, did it truly start? At the end of the episode, Raven comes home with Victor, and he tells her because of her vision, she learned the truth, and she stood up for herself, and he is proud of her. It's then Alice makes a big explosion with a science experiment. Alice and Victor tell Raven about what they want to do. Raven says nobody should miss out on anything because of her. So Alice is going to spend the summer with Clementine, and Victor is retiring with Tanya in London. With Victor leaving, Laszlo will run the Chill Grill while Raven will keep the loft and have the Baxter house. Raven is happy. Both Raven and Booker recap things that wouldn't have had happened if Victor had gotten the heart attack. It changed their lives. The real question is, did it change Victor? Cause not once did they mention him getting healthy. Raven gets a phone call from Nikki telling her that her dad will launch Raven's brand and she will have full creative control. Raven gets that blank emotional face because of this news, and Booker thinks she's having a vision, but she is not. She's having a different type of vision. It's then Alice finds out about Raven's vision power, and presumably Booker as well, as he's probably gonna say, I have them too. Now, while they didn't go with my idea, me saying Alice knew this whole time but didn't say anything until they said something to her, it still works. And I slightly prefer it that way. Now, I would like to see Alice say she had her theories but wasn't necessarily sure. Basically, she's gonna pull a Zach when she saw Raven with the vision face.
Hey, Raven, you okay? You had this weird look on your face.
No, I didn't.
Either way, Alice now knowing is awesome. A few months later, sometime after the summer, we see Raven has her own building, and there she has her own crew with Nikki as well. Her job is doing nothing and firing people. Booker is now in college and is at Raven's building asking Raven for money. Can I just say I'm happy that Raven is rich again, because in the first 3 seasons she was somewhat rich, but then in late season 3 or season 4, that's when she became poor. Bars. Nikki hands over a cover magazine with Raven on it, and Booker says, "That's you," and the episode ends with Raven saying,
Yep. That's me.
and season 6 comes to a close. I want to talk about Visions and Chelsea. When it comes to Visions, in season 6, it has not had many as the past seasons. If you notice in my past reviews of my season 6 videos, I kept saying every once in a while how there is no Visions in the episode. I was going to have it become a recurring gag, but I decided to stop. I would like to know, why did they do this? For me, not every episode requires a vision if they could tell a good story without it, but there was episodes where it pretty much required one, small or big. And I know a lot of people didn't like that for season 6, and I can understand their frustration. I mean, in That's So Raven, there was a vision every episode. In the Raven's Home fandom page, fans during season 6 was always asking the question, was there a vision in the episode? Because there's a 99% chance that if there's no vision in the episode, they might not watch it. That's another reason why I felt 6 was rushed. But moving on to Chelsea, I wonder how Chelsea feels about all this. I think she will be pissed at first, but then be happy for her because this has been her dream. The reason I said Chelsea would be pissed off is because Raven started a whole new business while still being in partnership with her. I have addressed this before, and that's Your Best Dressed Life. With Raven having a new business, is Chelsea now in full ownership? Do they still have co-ownership? It's unknown. I think Chelsea moves back to San Francisco for 2 reasons: her mother and to keep her business with Raven going. I could see Chelsea making a deal with Nikki's dad, and where Your Best Dressed Life is bought by him, and she has creative control. Raven no longer is a part of it, and Chelsea has 100% control, and she can leave anytime to go back to being a solo company. Chelsea's lifestyling coach could take place on a different floor in the Raven building. Plus, Chelsea is living with Raven again. Now, in my episode 12 review, I said I will let y'all know what episode I feel will get another 8 or higher. Well, it is this episode, and I give it a 9.5 out of 10. Even Nikki, as y'all know, I hate the character. She didn't get on my nerves, but I guess that's because she mostly wasn't talking. My grade for season 6 as a whole is a 6 out of 10. I now unfortunately have some bad news. Despite enjoying this episode, with them not finishing the Victor getting healthy storyline, I now have to dock 0.5 points from season 5. So it was an 8 out of 10. My grade is now for season 5 a 7.5 out of 10. If this was some D-level plotline that ended up being forgotten, I would have liked it, but I would have been fine with it. This was the A+ storyline. The main reason season 5 and 6 happened. If season 7 happens and the writers decide to pick it back up, it's too late. All I can see them doing now is Victor over the phone saying to Raven, "Thanks for making me healthy. I eat salads a lot more than usual." That's all you will get. A one-line sentence finishing the main arc of 5 and 6. If this was the end, it was a good run. It felt like a series finale, unlike the season 4 one, where it was only a series finale in the last 30 seconds. I will say, I have seen some people say this didn't even feel like a series finale. I disagree with that. As for one, the music they kept playing was calling for it. Second, Raven accomplishing her dream. I mean, that's what season 1 should have been. Her already being in San Francisco and being a famous fashion designer. The House of Raven TV show could still be a thing too. Now with that being said, get your fingers up and say it with me. Season 7, will it happen? Oh no, I'll talk about it soon. Bye.
Oh my goodness, you are never going to believe what I just saw.